Shalom, Kohaloyam Wahawala, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Sai Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors are due unto the venerable apostles of the great millstone, along with the elder bishops who teach the congregation well. Salutations, peace and blessings be unto the Ba'ath Shah Dawadah, which is the house of David, the elect, beginning with you, Akim, his servants, the prophets. All right, the men of the Lord who are out laboring in sound doctrine, preaching and teaching correctly out on the highways and hedges throughout the four corners of the earth, on down to all those among Yasharala who have believed our report. The men, women, and children, believers, okay, they too are going to be delivered out of this coming destruction, and that's what's coming to Babylon the Great, utter destruction. All right, I'm Shamar Ahmath, and a Salaki in advance, all right, because I'm out walking. Basically, you know, from time to time, I'll mess around, I'll walk 8 miles and not even realize it. It's just something it's just, hey, it's how I decompress, okay? Hey, some brothers lift weights, some brothers box, some brothers hoop, okay? I walk from time to time. And, hey, you gotta find an outlet, man, just as a side note. Okay, you gotta find an outlet, especially you brothers that have families, or maybe you have a woman you live with, you gotta get away. Anyway, I had this lesson in the can, for several days now, and it's just going to be on Esau, okay? Esau is the so-called white man, okay? The so-called white man, he's the biblical Edomite, okay? And wherever this man goes, all right, throughout his history, especially the last 500 years, everywhere he goes, all right, two things follow him, okay? And the two things that follow this man, all right, is what? Death and hell, okay? Now, Christians especially, they trip over this word hell, okay? Satan, heaven, all right, these certain words, when they hear them, all right, they go to their Christian dogma, okay? Not every time you hear, for example, not every time you hear the word heaven, is it talking about where the Most High is. Most High is in the third heaven, first of all, okay? Heaven doesn't have to be up where the Most High is, okay? Heaven is is rulership, okay? How about that? Heaven can be when you look up into the sky and you see the birds and the blue sky. That's a heaven, okay? So anyway, when you hear hell, okay, if you're a Christian, you're automatically going to think about that Greco-Roman nonsense, that Dante Inferno madness, okay? That Jewish fable, all right, of an underground fiery hell with red devils and goblins. Nah, man, that's the hell. Hell is either it's a condition that plays out on earth, okay, or it's the grave. It's as simple as that, man. All right, that's what hell is. It's either the grave or a condition that plays out on earth. How about this? Was the transatlantic slave trade, was that not hell for the Southern Kingdom? Was that not hell for the so-called Negroes, all right, so-called Haitians and so-called West Indians, all right, to make up the Southern Kingdom? Was that not hell, the transatlantic slave trade? Was the Trail of Tears for the Gadites, all right, the so-called North American Indians, was that not hell? All right, when Esau, all right, put Gad and Reuben on reservations, when Esau gave Gad blankets infected with smallpox, is that not putting hell on them? Absolutely, man. Okay, when you hear a brother say he's catching hell, okay, is he talking about he's been burning underground? No, man. See, I'm laughing because it's ridiculous. Again, it's that Greek and Roman mythology that's got a lot of Israelites jacked up, man. All right, even a lot of men calling themselves elders are jacked up when they hear the word hell. So that's why the Lord, that's why Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, all right, he set up, all right, prophets, all right, true prophets, okay, beginning with the elder apostles of the great millstone on down, all right, to do what? To bring down these strongholds, because most of us, Akim, and most of the men of the Lord, most of us, not all, but most of us at some point in our lives attended a so-called Christian church, man, where we learned that, if we did wrong things, that we were going to burn underneath the ground forever, And that's our whole fear doctrine. They especially pushed on Judah over here, to keep the so-called Negroes in line, right, who are the Judites according to the Bible. All right, to say, hey, if you get out of line, you're gonna burn in hell. Nah, man, we were set up. Okay, again, we all have our lot. We were set up to pull down strongholds, man. All right, and that hell doctrine, that Roman Catholic hell doctrine that the false prophets pushed throughout this earth the last 500 years, all right, plus, okay, that's been a stronghold for our people, man. So we tearing that shit down. You can go read, I'm not gonna get it. You can go and read Isaiah chapter 5 verses 13 and 14. Okay, which talks about captivity being a hellish thing, man, and that is slavery. Hardcore slavery is hell on a race of people. Okay, but anyways, moving on. These two things follow Esau everywhere he goes: death and hell. When Esau comes to a country, what does he do? He brings the sword, man. Okay, he brings the sword. He brings death, like I just mentioned about when the so-called pilgrims, when they poisoned Gad, when they gave Gad those blankets that were infected with smallpox. That was he brought death to Gad, man. Okay, killing off all the buffalo. Okay, bringing death, raping the land. Because there's such thing as a land Sabbath. Destroying the land, death. Okay. Again, when he goes to a country, what does he do? When he wants to set up a democracy, what does he do? He bombs them. Okay, death. Okay, and that's putting hell on people too, man. Bombing them, cutting off food and water, poisoning food and water. Okay, this man is the harbinger of death, and everywhere he goes, that's what follows with him: death and hell, man. He's a harbinger of death. What is a harbinger? Okay, by way of review. All right, a harbinger, it means a forerunner of something. Okay, so hey, this man is the harbinger of death. All right, the harbinger of death. And by the way, Cristobal Colon, all right, aka Christopher Columbus, he put the Gadites, he put a lot of the northern tribes, okay, Gad, Ephraim being the so-called Puerto Ricans, Issachar being the so-called Mexican. He put a lot of the northern kingdom on cargo slave ships. Okay, so the transatlantic slave trade went both ways, and there's historical documents to prove that. All right, so yeah, man, death and hell follow this beast, man. Okay, and that's the way the Lord set it up. The Lord set him up to be a bloodthirsty animal, man. Okay, so I just got a couple scriptures lined up, and I'll start with Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5. And it says, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine. Okay, the wine being his philosophy, his ideology. Okay, he transgresses the law, statutes, commandments by wine, through his philosophy, all right, through his ideology, through Christianity, all right, through plantation Christianity, okay, through his fractional reserve banking system, okay, through his alphabet agenda, if you know what I'm talking about, okay, that LGBTQPI, all that madness, okay, and all that stuff again brings death, okay, and brings hell. It says he is a proud man, right? Esau's proud, Esau's got a God complex, okay. The so-called white man thinks he is God, okay, and he thinks that he's always going to rule and reign. His inward thought is that his house is going to endure forever, and that's in the Psalms. I always get that confused. I think it's Psalms, the 49th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, where it says their inward thought is that their house will continue forever, Anyway, he's very proud. It says, neither keepeth at home. Right, he goes all throughout this earth, man. Invading countries, taking them over, setting up puppet governments, so-called democracies, so he can control them. All right, implementing his policies on the people, pushing Planned Parenthood on the people, okay? Forcing these countries to adopt the dollar, or else, look up the term economic hitman, okay? Go do some research on that term, economic hitman. This is what Esau does. He goes into a country and steals their resources, okay? Plunders, pillages, rapes, robs, murders. Again, he brings death and hell. It says, neither keepeth at home who enlargeth his desire as hell. Okay? It says, right, he enlarges his desire as hell and is as deaf and cannot be satisfied. Right, this man is never satisfied. He got the whole globe and he still ain't satisfied. Because what is he looking to do now? He's looking to set up his NWO via this via his so-called Great Reset, right? He wants to bring it really goes back to the spirit of Nimrod at the Tower of Babel. Okay, he wants to set up that NWO, all right, and bring everyone underneath one umbrella, okay, a one world currency, etc. And he wants to implement that MOTB, okay? He wants to CHIP everybody, all right? We have to speak in code. You know how it is with YouTube. Anyway, he's never satisfied, man. Okay, he can never get enough. He's got an insatiable appetite. Look up that word, insatiable. All right. In other words, he cannot be, like it says, he cannot be satisfied. Enough is never enough. Okay, it's never enough with this man. But gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. All right. Again, that's Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5. All right. Now talking about how he's never satisfied. This is the book of Obadiah. In verse 5 it says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Right, because see, a normal person, let's say you was hungry. All right, back in the ancient world, you was hungry and you walked past an orange orchard, okay, and there was some oranges laying on the ground. All right, it was lawful for you to, if you were in need, it was lawful for you to pick up those oranges. Okay, so you have something to eat. Okay, so you pick up a few oranges to feed you and your family with, and you kept it moving, right? All right, what Esau would do is he would come in, he would just take the whole goddamn orange orchard over, all right, and not leave anything for anyone else, right? A normal person would take, like, I'll give you a real world example of something that happened to me recently. I was taking a walk, and it was a pretty busy, like, secondary highway I was walking on, and I was on the sidewalk, of course, and it looked like what had happened was a case of water had probably fallen off off a work truck, and because there was just a case of water that had split and water bottles was everywhere, and I was thirsty, and it was warm. I mean, this was months ago. It was warm. It was probably in the low 80s, mid 80s. All right. And so I picked up a few water bottles. Guess what? I left a lot of water bottles there in case anybody else came by who was thirsty and in need. Okay? Esau would come by and take the whole goddamn case of water for himself and not leave anything for anyone else, man, because he don't give a fuck. Esau don't even care about Esau. So yeah, man, and you can also, this is precepted with, this is also repeated Slakia by the prophet Jeremiah, all right, in Jeremiah the 49th chapter, right? He's never satisfied, man. There's a scripture in the Proverbs. Hold on. Let me get that one. There's a scripture in the Proverbs. Yeah, there it is. I was reading it earlier. Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 20. And it reads, hell and destruction are never full, so the eyes of man are never satisfied. Right. Esau's eyes are never satisfied. He wants more and more and more and more. Okay. Again, what he wants to do pursuant to his Georgia Guidestones is he wants, there to be 500 million people left on this earth. Okay. And he wants to rule over them all via his technology. Okay. Via this CHIP. All right. He can't get enough of death. All right. And he lives to put hell on people. And hell is even spilling on. I mean, it is even spilling on to his own. Like I said, he don't even care about like the Amalekites. All right, those fake Jews over there in the Israeli state, so-called, like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the elites. They don't give a damn about Joe Sixpack over here, you know, and the Edomite, the so-called white man over here who sells insurance and lives in a 2-bedroom home and has a, you know, a 3-bedroom home and has a 2-car garage, you know, making $65,000, $70,000 a year. You don't care about him, you know. They see him as a nigga just like they see you, you Jakes, man. Okay? So again, he don't even care about his own, man. All right? This is the book of Revelation. All right, chapter 6 and verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, okay? Esau, all right? And his name that sat on him was Death, okay? And what? And hell followed with him. That's right, man. Okay? It says, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword, which, you know, Esau was blessed with the sword. That's his blessing, man. And right now he's sharpening that sword. He's feverishly sharpening that sword, getting ready to come down, having great wrath, man, without martial law. That's coming, man. It says to kill with sword and with hunger and with death and with the beasts of the earth, okay? Revelation chapter 6 and verse 8. That's right, man. That's what he's getting ready to do, man. He's getting ready to go on a rampage. Okay, he's getting ready to show you Israelites, all right, those horns. Okay, and you're gonna know, man. And he's getting ready to give a lot of you a world class beat now. It's like I'm tongue tied. He's getting ready to give a lot of you Jakes a world class ass cutting, man. All right, he's gonna throw you into FEMA camps. Gonna throw you into concentration camps. Okay. The scripture says there's going to be a great insurrection, all right, upon those that fear the Lord, man. Okay, he's coming after you Israelites first and foremost. Okay, so yeah, man, wherever this creature goes, all right, 2 things come with him: death and hell, guaranteed, man, guaranteed. Take it to the bank. All right. But this is what's coming to him, okay? Nuclear destruction is coming. That's how he's going to be taken out of power, all right? He's going to be taken out of power during the third woe that's coming quickly, all right? This third world's war, all right? It's going to be the end of his heaven, man, the end of his rulership, the end of his kingdom, okay? This is Revelation chapter 20, verse 14. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire, okay? So wait a minute. So if hell is this underground fiery pit, you know, Dante's Inferno, how can it be thrown into a lake of fire? See? That's a cut, man. That's a cut on you goofy-ass Christians. All right? Again, from the top, Revelation chapter 20, verse 14. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death, right? So Esau is going to be cast into the lake of fire, okay? All right? Esau over here in America, okay? And other parts of the earth are going to be hit with nukes. But all the Edomites over here in America, all right, when these nukes hit, they're going to burn. All right, even 2/3 of the Lord's people are going to burn, all right, for a long period of time, okay, in this lake of fire, all right? And this is the second death. The first death was via water, okay, that great flood. The second death is going to be via fire, all right? So, yeah, man, everywhere this guy goes, everywhere this creature goes, all right, nothing but death and hell comes with him. Okay, Lord willing, I don't want to write this out. You was edified through the Spirit. With that, I want to say shalom.